bottom line, the headline comes straight from Vanity Fair. Earth is doomed. So the Trump administration.
Always, when we needed a specialist, we immediately were assigned a specialist. Very
Response is go hog wild.
Yeah. But this is all because of Donald Trump, right? He pulled out the Paris Agreement. Obama and the European powers, who have this utopian idea that we're going to maintain the capitalistic system that brought us to the brink of extinction while simultaneously, like, incrementalists, like that. When I hear people say that, it's like, do you want to drive, like Trump is going to hit it at 90 miles per hour, but the Democratic Party and the Western powers is going to hit it at 70. You're dead either way. Like, the Paris Agreement is this kind of cutesy around the edges stuff, when what's called for is a radical, like to get across like a radical redefinition of what it means to be a human being in our relationship with this planet is understatement. And they're not even there yet.
Right. And, the Obama administration, after he was reelected early in 2012, in his first term, Obama said in a speech that we are not going to change, we're not going to make any economic sacrifices just to deal with climate change.
That's amazing. Like, that's utterly, I think the reason why they have that sliding 2100 deadline is because it's so far in the future. Like, we don't have to do anything now. It's as if there's some disconnect between now versus then. And so we can focus on the then, missing the fact that what's taking place right now is
well,
this is
and let's just
aggravating.
look at the latest report, which says 2030.
Yeah.
Or let's look at the Secretary General's interview from a couple of days ago when he said we have 14 months. Is that now enough for you?
That's now. That's now. And it's not like now in the sense of, okay, we need to, eat less, whatever. It is a dramatic change. I think that's the most terrifying thing to me. The reason why I accepted this a while ago was because I looked at it as, I don't see anything that would change the culture. Like, the culture is what the culture is. And I see nothing. Like, if there was an asteroid that was going to hit the planet and people could see the asteroid, and every day Chuck Todd would get on and says, oh my God, look at this asteroid. And people would say, oh my God, look at that asteroid. At the very least, everybody's attention will be focused on one very specific, bright goal of trying to solve that issue. And as dramatic and as deadly as that would be, they would at the very least be focused on it. You could put a human intellect, a human will at the task of trying to solve the problem. I feel something similar with this. If people could focus their intellect and strength in regards to how do we solve this particular issue, maybe a chance, whatever the percentage of chance is. We're not even there. Like, we're not even at the point of recognizing that, oh my God, life on Earth is about to take a hit.
And that's what we're talking about. We're in the midst of the sixth mass extinction on planet Earth that's widely recognized in the scientific community. There's been referee journal literature, conservative publications pointing out that we're in the midst of the sixth. And no response.
Yeah.
No significant response to that. You're right. If there was an asteroid, we'd get on the phone and we'd say, hey, Bruce Willis, you got to fix this. And I'm afraid that's been the problem all along, is that we want somebody else to fix it. And we, the individual we, the collective we, we're rewarded to do things the way we've always done them. We get rewards, financial and otherwise, for driving the car and picking up the hamburger and going into work and doing all those things that we've all done. It's all we've ever known our entire lives. And now you want to bring on a Manhattan Project? Whoa, wait a minute. Is that going to interfere with my lunch?
And how much is it going to cost? Which is an amazing statement, because that is what they're going to say. And it's like, you're talking about an unreal thing. Cash isn't real. And you're weighing that against human existence itself. Like I've heard people say they can see the end of humanity before they see the end of capitalism. And hey, here you are. Here you are in real terms, like real world terms. All right. Is there anything that people see? I'm not in this mindset. I don't have this mindset that there's nothing you can do. Like, and I mean that just as an absolute, just across the board, whatever I face. And the reason I don't is because, pessimism is not a survival trait. And ultimately, people who are demoralized have no options, as opposed to, even if you're wrong, working towards something, even if you're wrong, if that makes sense. Like the reason why they used to tell people to, in case of a nuclear bomb, go under your desk. Now that's utter nonsense. You go under your wood desk or nuclear blast. But it's because people function a little bit better when there's something that they think they can do to push it off. What about technologies to pull carbon out of the sky? What about I guess like for the food thing, for example, human beings in China has shown the ability to grow rice in salt water. Well, that was deemed impossible at first. All things are deemed impossible until they get to the point where they are possible. Is this one of those things? Is it possible to pull this stuff out of the sky?
We currently do not have the technology to make a dent in removing and sequestering, fixing for long-term carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. We don't have that technology. We have some promising technology on the horizon. We can extract carbon dioxide from the atmosphere in relatively small amounts by using a lot of energy to do that, by the way, which means burning carbon. So the net gain so far is relatively small. Can we scale that up over the course of the next few months or years? It would surprise me, but I'm a huge fan of taking action that might improve the situation, not
Yes.
just for us, but for every other species on the planet.
Yes.
So yes, I would love to believe there's something out there. I don't see the evidence for it yet. I'm a huge fan of a miracle, and I don't even believe in miracles. So I think we should pursue those kinds of actions, while as individuals being prepared for the end of our days. And what I mean is in the way we live every day and how we treat each other every day. In my opinion, we need to act as if we don't have long, because I think we have a long way to go and a very short time to get there when it comes to things like carbon dioxide sequestration and delaying the freezing of the Arctic Ocean, which is bound to release all kinds of methane and increase the heating of the planet because of the blue ocean instead of the white ice, and 10,000 other things that are problematic with the Arctic Ocean. But all that aside, are there things we as individuals can do? Yes, of course, absolutely. And the kinds of things that we learn to do in kindergarten and that most of us still aren't very good at.
Being kind to one another and treating each other like human beings.
Right.
What about spraying stuff into the sky, like geoengineering, in the sense of saying, all right, well, we put aerosols into the sky haphazardly. What about doing it intentionally with the idea of creating a solar effect of reverberating the sun back into the atmosphere, back into space?
Yeah, what's called solar radiation management is the best studied of all geoengineering techniques. And it's been very intensively studied by the scholarly community and has been found wanting so far. In fact, there are extensive reviews, syntheses in 2015 by the United States National Academy of Sciences and by a European body of similar stature that conclude that those approaches won't work and likely will make the situation worse. So again, I'm a huge fan of doing something. I have never suggested that we just say, screw it, we're all going to die. But I don't see the technology emerging. I don't see these synthetic approaches, the agglomeration, synthesis of knowledge being put out there, concluding, yeah, if we just do these 427 things starting today, we're
Yeah.
going to be better off. I don't see those.
And not to mention all of that, anything will require a recognition of a problem. And that doesn't, like, I am amazed. I got to be honest. I'm somewhat amazed by this. Like, you would think that when confronted with something like this, like scientists are the guys that explain our worlds. And this is not an esoteric topic. So this is not like what happens after death, where you can say, okay, that scientist is full of it. That guy doesn't know. That guy's, has a religious belief in his particular field that precludes him from getting into these more esoteric topics. No, this is nuts and bolts. Like, you know what I mean? This is, I go out, I make a measurement. We can see this greenhouse effect take place on other planets. Earth is not atypical of this.
This is James Hansen on the floor of the United States Congress in 1988 telling us that we cannot exceed somewhere between 320 and 350 parts per million. That's nuts and bolts. This is Carl Sagan and a very young Al Gore 5 years before that on the floor of Congress saying if we don't take action right now, we're going to end up where we're ending up. The consequences will be absolutely dire. So we've heard these warnings for 35 years.
And the aggravating part about this, neither party, like the Republican Party said it doesn't exist and the Democratic Party is completely feckless to do anything. Like this, the dramatic approach, you would expect somebody to say, look, the world is coming to an end and we need to do something about it. And even if we fail in the pursuit of doing something about it, we need to do something about it. We need to take drastic action. And the drastic action is a radical transformation in regards to how we go about our affairs. Now, nobody's going to be on board for that. like, even if there's a recognition, people are going to be like, oh God, I don't like this. But the world is at stake. The problem is they can't see that the world is at stake. The only thing they can see is, hey, we're getting more forest fires. And hey, the hurricanes are bad. And hey, the Arctic Ocean is not, going. One of the other things, the amount of carbon in the atmosphere pushing down the nutritional density in our food. So our foods get less nutrients because essentially the foods are become junk foods, like plants and so forth. So year after year after year, they're like, hey, why is our food less nutritious? Well, the food is less nutritious. It was research showing that it was less nutritious because of the amount of carbon that was in the atmosphere pushing it down. Like these are ancillary effects.
Acidification of the ocean.
Yeah.
There's phytoplankton disappearing, but all of these are symptoms and you can't see the cancer.
Yeah.
So when you have cancer, you are symptomatic, but you can't see the cancer. It takes a really close look, a really close inspection by talented, knowledgeable people to identify the cancer cells. We finally have a few people who are talented and knowledgeable who are telling us they see the cancer cells, and we're like, I don't see no stinking cancer. I'm just going to keep drinking and smoking and going on with my life.
All right, last question. So what do you suggest people do at this point? Like, assuming for the moment that you're right, and God knows I hope that you're completely wrong on this, and I suspect you hope that you're wrong on this too.
Absolutely.